Hello and welcome to a 10-minute takes gaming review. Today we are doing PSVR's Evasion. So the way our gaming reviews work, they're a little different from the movie reviews. Our gaming reviews is a average of 5 separate scores that we have rated this game on, or any games that we're going to review. The scores are based on how fun a game is, how engaging the game is, the level design, the presentation, and bugs and glitches. So we took those 5 separate scores, averaged them together, and then we got our final scores. So with that said, with 10-minute takes, we give you the final score first, then we discuss how we got there. So Sam, you ready to give our ratings for Evasion?
Mm-hmm.
My average score came out to be a 5.7 out of 10.
My final score was a 6 out of 10.
Oof. A little disappointing after Astrobots.
I think that's probably part of the problem.
Let's give the rating for the fun factor of this game.
Okay.
So for me, that's where this game was at its best, was how fun it was. And for me, my fun score was a 7 out of 10. What was it for you?
Mine was a 7 out of 10, and I think that if it wasn't for the last 3 or 4 levels, it would have been lower.
What this game does, and when it does it well, it does it really well, is that the combat itself is actually pretty fun. I think its biggest hang-up is that it's pretty much the same thing over and over, and there's no variety to the actual combat, that it got boring and it didn't make me want to keep playing. Part of the fun of the game is that you take cover, you're shooting the enemies, and when the enemy's health is really low, you hit the left trigger button, and then you bring in something called a core. And that core is either going to give you a health pool, or it's going to power up your weapons. And that's essentially the combat loop of the game. Mm-hmm. You shoot enemies, pull the core, you upgrade your weapons, and if you upgrade your weapons enough, you then unlock a special attack. And when you unlock the special attack, you just obliterate a big wave of enemies, and it's pretty fun when you do that. It's just kind of challenging to get that to happen, because you need to hit the left trigger to get a core from an enemy when the enemy's just about dead, and there's a lot of times where the enemy will die before you get a chance to pull the core.
It took me a long time to figure that out. Like you were saying, it wasn't easy to do, and it wasn't until the last few levels that I finally got the hang of it, and my joy for the game went up a little bit. I think my favorite part about this game was that I got to actually play it with somebody else, which of course was you, but it really, having somebody there to talk to and to communicate with about what's going on in the game was really enjoyable for me.
Oh yeah, and I will say that, because we did do this co-op, that if I was a solo player playing this, this game would probably be borderline unplayable for me. I don't think I would go any more beyond 2 sessions.
And
we're rating it as it should be rated. This is a game meant to be played with other people.
Right. I would not be able to play this game as an independent person.
Yeah. And so the other thing that brought the fun factor down is that the enemies really don't change very much. It's pretty much the same enemies from the beginning to the end, with a few, I guess they're like boss type characters that enter the fray. But from the very beginning, it's the grunts, and that carries you through the majority of the game.
It was very repetitive.
Which adds to the repetitiveness of it. So the next thing we're going to go on to how engaging this game is. And for me, I gave my engaging score a 4 out of 10. What did you rate it?
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
A little more than me. For me, when I talk about how engaging something is, how much does it make me want to keep playing the game? Can I sit down and play the game for 3 hours and not realize I just played for 3 hours? Does it pull me in and make me not want to leave the world that this game has built? And with this, I was good. I could play 2 or 3 levels, and maybe even with just 1 level, and be like, okay, I'm good. It didn't make me want to keep playing it.
I said a 6 out of 10 because when I was there, I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, I don't think I could have sat down and played this entire game through, which I think you could have. It is very short.
You could play this game in 1 sitting.
We only spent 3 days on this. It was very short, and we beat it. And like I said, the ending it starts to get you at the end, and then it's almost too late. So like I felt that it was engaging. I wanted to be there when I was there, but then after a while I was ready to go. Yeah,
and the other thing is that brings it down is that there's really 2 characters in this game. One's a robot and one's a person that's talking to you through a comm. And we'll get to that later, but that part of the game left me a little cold, which made me not want to keep playing it. Unlike a game, Farpoint, where Farpoint's characters are like, they're so rich that it makes you want to see the next part of the story, and there's nothing like that in Evasion.
Yeah.
So the next aspect I want to talk about is the level design. For me, I gave the level design a 5 out of 10. What did you give it? 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10?
My biggest problem with the level design was the repetitive look of everything. It didn't, every time you started a new level, you didn't feel like you were in a new place. It just was, even though it was supposed to be a continuation, when you finished a level and then start a level, you had a whole nother wave of enemies to fight at that very same spot. So it overlapped so much that there were times I didn't even feel like I had progressed in the game.
That's a good point. The level design, there's 9 levels in this game, all of which take about 30 to 45 minutes to complete each. The game is essentially one map with 9 levels spread across this one single map. So none of the levels really vary in the way they look. The enemies don't change. You get a few sort of boss-like characters or checkpoint boss type enemies that pop up from time to time. But it's just the same. It's the same thing over and over, and it's essentially a horde mode game built into a 9-level co-op mission structure. So essentially, you start a level, you go to a waypoint, you defend the waypoint through waves of enemies, and then after you do that, you go to the next checkpoint, defend that checkpoint through waves of enemies, go to the next checkpoint, and it's just that rotation for the duration of this 9-level game. And it wore really thin on me really fast. To me, it wasn't like even the game like Bravo Team, which I've heard a lot of people aren't big fans of, but Bravo Team to me mixes it up from level to level enough to where it kept me wanting to keep playing Bravo Team.
I really enjoyed Bravo Team because there was a storyline. I think that this storyline was a little weak.
Yeah, there's borderline almost no story here.
Yeah.
Even like Arizona Sunshine that we're big fans of, like every level felt a little different from the previous, and there's little things in Arizona Sunshine where like you'll go to a barracks and then, or it's like it's like a checkpoint you'll go to, and then there's like a sniper rifle there, and you can snipe zombies with a sniper rifle. There's a minigun. There's nothing like that at all in Evasion, which is disappointing. That's what we thought of level design. The next thing I want to talk about is the presentation. I rated it a 6 out of 10.
I rated it a 5 out of 10.
So the presentation to me is pretty weak. I rate presentation based on, is there any aspects of this game that came off as lazy or incomplete or rushed? Those are the things that go into the presentation for me. And the big thing for me is that, one, there's no real story to the campaign, and there's 2 voice actors in this game. One's a robot, and the other one kind of sounds like they don't want to be there. And it really kind of ruined the experience for me.
The voice acting was boring. Like the actors would just be like, wow, oh no.
Where the hell is she going?
She is regrouping for the final battle. We must do the same if we are going to prevail in the upcoming engagement.
What's wrong?
The Widow is attempting to hack my main directory. I am unable to counter the intrusion with my...
Mabel? Mabel!
Is over.
I think that's the Widow. She's speaking through Mabel.
Yeah.
And he just kind of had to laugh out loud because you heard the voice actors, and like you were saying, they just didn't seem to want to be there.
Yeah, there's really nothing about the presentation outside of, well, I will say that one of the things I did like is the lobby when you're waiting for players to join you is an actual like lobby where you can practice with different classes. So while me and you were waiting to hook up in the game to connect, I would be able to do the 4 different player classes, mess around with that while you were waiting to join them. When you joined, you could actually join me in the lobby and we could practice together, which was pretty cool. That's a pretty cool...
I mean, I never practiced in the lobby. When I got there, I was like, let's do this.
Yeah, but it's different than just... It's better than just looking at a menu and just sitting with the headset on looking at...
Oh, and waiting. I agree. Yeah, that's a good point.
So the next thing I want to talk about is bugs and glitches. What did you get bugs and glitches? You can start this one.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. The big glitch and bug for me when we were trying to play this is that the matchmaking and trying to get us to join each other's games was just horrendous.
So complicated. The first time we played, we almost gave up. I was
we
like,
almost didn't
I
play
don't
it.
even want to play at this point. By the time we got to play it, I think we did one level, and I was like, I don't want to play anymore.
The first time we tried to play this, we played it on launch night. So it was Monday night. We were trying to play it, and it took us an hour and a half to get Sam to join my game.
But it didn't really stop there. Like, we played the first night. Every time we played, we had difficulty connecting.
Yeah, the second time we played, I want to say it took us maybe 20 minutes to get connected. And then the third time we played, which was our final play session, which we ended up beating the game. I want to say it connected right away, but then another bug hit where we were playing the final level and the game crashed.
You know what? I'd have to say I'm glad that it happened right away in the final level, because if we were halfway through that boss fight and it had crashed, I would have been so mad.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have wanted to finish it, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But anyways, the game crashed, and then it took us probably another 10 minutes to get the game going again. Because when it crashed, I had to restart my game. Then Sam tried to get back in, and the game kept on freezing when we tried to connect get her into my lobby of my game. And that to me is almost borderline unacceptable. But we were able to get past it. And once we got into the game and we were playing the game, outside of the one minor crash that we got, it was playable. It was fine. Everything worked the way it should.
Were you underwhelmed by the way that it ended?
There really is no ending. I mean,
when it ended, it just ended. I was kind of bummed by the way it ended because there was no...
It's essentially...
I didn't feel like any success in ending the game. I was like, all right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, it doesn't leave you with a sense of satisfaction when you've completed it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much 9 levels of horde missions disguised with some voiceovers from other characters that you never meet. You never see any of the other characters that you actually hear in the game. They're just talking to you through a comms. And once you actually beat the final horde, when you get past the final wave of enemies, the game just cuts and then you get the credits and that's it. That's how it ends.
The credits was cool though, I have to say.
They were kind of cool. You could actually shoot the names.
Cool.
You could shoot the names.
But it wouldn't be something that I would visit again.
No, I have no interest in playing this one again. We bought this. It's a $30 game. It's not worth $30. I'd say at most $20. If there's a sale in the future and you can get this for $20 and you got a friend that wants to play it with you, sure. But I can't justify dropping $30 on this game. I honestly can't recommend it. But with a score of a 5.7 out of 10, I don't think that is a recommended score. So,
unfortunately,
I think the devs' hearts were in the right place with trying to make a horde-like campaign game for 2 people to sit down and play. I just think there's more that could go into making it much more engaging and much more fun to play. So, those are my final thoughts.
My final thought.
All right, that's it for this take of 10 Minute Takes Gaming.
Great.
We did buy a bunch of horror VR games. I've got The Exorcist series that I bought. So we're looking to play through that. Looking to get a review for that out as well. We've also played through Spider-Man. I'd like to do a review for Spider-Man. I absolutely love that. So hopefully we can get a review out for Spider-Man before the first DLC hits.
We still have not done Spider-Man.
Also, if you have any recommendations for games that you might want to see, VR titles that you want to see reviews done for, shoot us a comment. We'll take a look at it. All right? So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. And as always, we'll see you next time. Plus, we also take feedback very seriously. So I just want to say thanks to Tristan, who gave us feedback on our previous review for Astrobot. And so we revamped the reviews. Hopefully you liked it. And thank you for all the wonderful feedback you've given us. So see you next time. Thanks, guys.